As the day began to open, Beats came out of the house to where I was, hard at work. He seemed to be that morning even more morose and disagreeable than usual. He was my master, entitled by law to my flesh and blood, and to exercise over me such tyrannical control as his mean nature prompted. I despised both his disposition and his intellect. I had just come round to the keg for a supply of nails as he reached the weaving house. "I thought I told you to commence putting on weatherboards this morning," he remarked.
"Yes, master, and I am about it," I replied.
"Where?" he demanded. "On the other side," was my answer. He walked around to the other side, examined my work for a while, muttering to himself in a fault-finding tone. "Didn't I tell you last night to get a keg of nails from Chapin?" he broke forth again. "Yes, master, and so I did. An overseer said he would get another size for you if you wanted them when he came back from the field." Beats walked to the keg, looked a moment at the contents, then kicked it violently. Coming towards me in a great passion, he exclaimed, "God damn you! I thought you knowed something." I made answer, "I tried to do as you told me, master. I didn't mean anything wrong. Overseer said—" But he interrupted me with such a flood of curses that I was unable to finish the sentence. At length he ran towards the house, and going to the piazza, took down one of the overseer's whips. The whip had a short wooden stock braided over with leather, and was loaded at the butt. The lash was 3 feet long, or thereabouts, and made of rawhide strands. At first, I was somewhat frightened, and my impulse was to run. There was no one about except Rachel, the cook, and Chapin's wife, and neither of them were to be seen. The rest were in the field. I knew he intended to whip me, and it was the first time anyone had attempted it since my arrival at Avoyelles. I felt, moreover, that I had been faithful, that I was guilty of no wrong whatsoever, and deserved commendation rather than punishment. My fear changed to anger, and before he reached me, I had made up my mind fully not to be whipped. Let the result be life or death. Winding the lash around his hand and taking hold of the small end of the stock, he walked up to me and with a malignant look ordered me to strip. "Master Beats," said I, looking him boldly in the face, "I will not." I was about to say something further in justification, but with concentrated vengeance, he sprang upon me, seizing me by the throat with one hand, raising the whip with the other in the act of striking. Before the blow descended, however, I had caught him by the collar of the coat and drawn him closely to me. Reaching down, I seized him by the ankle, and pushing him back with the other hand, he fell over on the ground. Putting one arm around his leg and holding it to my breast so that his head and shoulders only touched the ground, I placed my foot upon his neck. He was completely in my power. My blood was up. It seemed to course through my veins like fire. In the frenzy of my madness, I snatched the whip from his hand. He struggled with all his power, swore that I should not live to see another day, and that he would tear out my heart. But his struggles and his threats were alike in vain. I cannot tell how many times I struck him. Blow after blow fell fast and heavy upon his wriggling form. At length he screamed, cried murder, and at last the blasphemous tyrant called on God for mercy. But he who had never shown mercy did not receive it. The stiff stock of the whip warped round his cringing body until my right arm ached.